Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. The VA is cutting more positions, and another mass layoff is underway. And there's some news circulating on this. I am actually pulling this up directly from the VA to read it directly from that. And look, this is a weird double-edged sword because I think that a lot of us might think, well, the government might be a little bloated in some areas. Maybe that's the case for the VA, but it's never fun to see big, massive cuts to a workforce, especially when they serve veterans. I think that there needs to be a more, I think I read in a comment, and this actually, it really resonated. Not the butcher style, but the scalpel style of employee reduction. In any case, I want to read this through and share my thoughts along the way. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. Every thumbs up, every minute watched really does help the channel. If you want to support in other ways, consider being a member. Thank you so much to all you members. I do my best to get back to you in the comments. All right, so this just came out in the evening of February 24th, 2025. I'm sharing it with you here today. And it says VA dismisses more than 1,400 probationary employees. This is in addition to the 1,000 that were just recently cut. Now, there were some that were brought back on. Let's go ahead and read through this. Mission critical positions are exempt from the reductions, which will enable VA to redirect over $83 million annually to healthcare benefits and services for beneficiaries of the VA. All right. The Department of Veterans Affairs, and we'll look at other publications as things move on to see the ramifications of this. We might not get it straight from the VA, right? So the Department of Veterans Affairs today announced the dismissal of more than 1,400 employees in non-mission critical positions. In the meantime, VA continues to hire more than 300,000 mission critical positions that are exempt from the federal hiring freeze. VA positions considered mission critical include Veterans Crisis Line Responders, among other roles. VA positions considered non-mission critical include DEI-related positions. For those that don't know, DEI is diversity, inclusion, and equity, diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, related positions, among other roles. Those dismissed today are bargaining unit probationary employees who have served less than 1 year in a competitive service appointment or who have served less than 2 years in an exempted service appointment. The personnel moves will save the department more than $83 million per year, and VA will redirect all of those resources back toward healthcare benefits and services for VA beneficiaries. There are currently 40,000 probationary employees across the department, the vast majority of whom were exempt from today's personnel actions because they serve in mission-critical positions, primarily those supporting benefits and services for VA beneficiaries. VA employees who elected to participate in the Office of Personnel Management's Deferred Resignation Program are also exempt from today's personnel actions. Moving on. As an additional safeguard to ensure VA benefits and services are not impacted, the first senior executive services or service, SES or SES equivalent leader is a dismissed employee chain of command can request that an employee be exempted from removal. So in other words, your employee is on the chopping block. You could go up and say, hey, look, as the senior executive service or SES equivalent leader of that dismissed employee, I'm requesting them to be exempt from removal. So moving on, it says here that today's actions follow other dismissals VA announced February 13th and are part of a government-wide Trump administration effort to make agencies more efficient, effective, and responsive to the American people. To that end, VA is refocusing on its core mission, providing the best possible care and benefits to veterans, their families, caregivers, and survivors. Now, again, I'm a fan of including everybody when you say that. When you say veterans, families, caregivers, and survivors, it's a much bigger number than saying disabled veterans, right? Disabled veterans is about, 6 million veterans. When you include them, everybody, all veterans, service-connected or not, families, caregivers, survivors, you're looking upward of 40 million in that headcount. Moving on, there's a final quotation here. These and other recent personnel decisions are extraordinarily difficult, but VA is focused on allocating its resources to help as many veterans, families, caregivers, and survivors as possible, said the VA Secretary Doug Collins. These moves will not hurt VA healthcare, benefits, or beneficiaries. In fact, veterans are going to notice a change for the better. In the coming weeks and months, VA will be announcing plans to put these resources to work helping the department fulfill its core mission, providing the best possible care and benefits to veterans, their families, caregivers, and survivors. So that is the official statement from the VA. I would love to get your thoughts on that. Please throw them in the comments. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually shift over to some headlines and just share those headlines and maybe like the sub-headline from other publications just to give a little flavor to this. All right, so we have The Hill. They say VA axes another 1,400 employees. There's no real subtitle, but the first paragraph there basically outlines the same things that we've already talked about. Let's go on to the next one here. So another one is Military Times. VA fires 1,400 more staffers in second round of workforce reductions. It says, first kind of little paragraph, Veterans Affairs leaders dismissed more than 1,400 additional probationary employees on Monday evening, the second round of mass layoffs at the department this month. Let's see. There's the standard one. Let's see. We did Military Times. Let's see. We got Fox News here reporting on it as well. There's a bunch. But this one says Department of Veterans Affairs cutting more than 1,400 employees in another round of dismissals. And then there's a quotation from the secretary which says these moves will not hurt VA healthcare benefits or beneficiaries, which is what we actually read in the VA's official announcement. Yahoo News has it as well. Veterans Affairs dismissing another 1,400 employees. No real subtitle to speak of. But this is definitely making its rounds, and the information's getting out there. Again, I'd love to get your viewpoint, your thoughts. Look, 1,400 is not a small number in the number by itself. 1,400. I mean, there's plenty of businesses that don't have 1,400 employees. However, at the VA, 470 something thousand employees, 1,400 represents, about, I don't know, maybe less than 0.5%, right? So maybe a 0.3% or so, 0.4% of the entire VA population of employees. The Dayton News, which I'm guessing is out of Florida, VA dismisses 1,400 probationary union members nationally. And if I remember right, I know this is toward the end, but I think the first one did not include unionized members, and this one does. In its little subtitle, it says, it's the second round of cuts in less than 2 weeks. So we'll see what the future holds. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.